we're brothers. We're happy and we're singing and we're colored. Give me a high five.
Not you.
Can y'all hear Christina in the background?
We
Somewhat.
can.
I don't care. It's my house.
Ooh, she took over.
Come through, daughter.
Welcome to another edition of Bro Talk Live, the best show on the internet for us, by us. Kick it to my main man, Dex. Bandana still on fleek. What's going on, bro? Memorial Day style.
Dex the one here, Memorial Day style indeed. I'm happy to be here.
Are you proud to be in America?
We're reporting for duty and proud to be American and from America and making America great. Finally.
Again.
No, I don't know about it again.
Tyler God, what's up? Oh, you're on your Afrocentric kick, I see, with that shirt you got on. Or is that Jamaica? What's that? Is that a weed shirt? What's going on?
Oh, Navy?
No, I don't endorse such things. As you know, I am drug-free and alcohol-free. So this is actually from a music festival a few years ago. So
was Lauryn Hill there?
No, it's actually celebrating the works of wonderful artists such as Bob Marley and all those wonderful people who sing about peace.
Was this a music festival you attended or a shirt you got from the Gap?
A shirt that I got from the Gap. I was not there.
Bill, what's up, bro?
I'm here.
All right. Why does everybody have some kind of headdress? Is that what we're supposed to be doing today?
Headdress, is that what we're calling it now?
Yeah.
All of a sudden, I just want to take it off. Memorial Day was great, aside from the fact that I wasted $11 watching that new X-Men movie. But besides that, everything was good.
I didn't get a chance to see it.
Don't waste your time.
Don't bother.
I heard it was good.
Who about who?
The credits. The credits were good when it went off. That's when it was good.
It was that bad?
That bad.
Someone who didn't have a great Memorial Day weekend was...
Oh, gosh.
Harambe, I think that's how you pronounce his name. Doesn't really matter.
Harambe?
Formerly known as Harambe, now known as deceased. He was, if you guys haven't heard, he was the victim of the killing at the zoo, all because of a kid who wanted to jump in and play with it because of such movies such as Jungle Book and the new Tarzan movie, which is promoting children's entrance into wildlife territory.
I don't know if I like how you're presenting this story.
But in any event, we all saw the video. We saw the kid get dragged, and immediately Twitter went up with the jokes and everything. It was crazy. People laughing, having a good time, talking about my mother would have whooped my ass, all this other stuff that their mother and father would have done to them. But then we found out that the little boy was actually black, and that's what everybody halted things on Black Twitter, and was actually pretty shocked. These are some of the photos and memes that we saw on Twitter when people found out that the little boy was black because they thought he was white the whole time, and a little more serious discussion decided to come out of it. Zookeeper shot this 450-pound gorilla with a rifle rather than tranquilizing him, and that's what has people up in arms. The brief encounter between the gorilla and the child sparked widespread internet outrage over the decision to shoot him and whether the child's parents were to blame for quote-unquote failing to look after him in the first place. The family was reportedly visiting the zoo on Saturday when the boy slipped away and entered the enclosure. Kimberly Ann Perkins O'Connor, who captured part of the incident on her phone, told CNN that she overheard the boy joking to his mother about going into the water. Then, suddenly, there he was being dragged by this gorilla. The zoo director for the Cincinnati Zoo, Thane Maynard, said that the child's life was in danger. People who question that don't understand that you can't take a risk with a silverback gorilla. This is a dangerous animal. Looking back, we'd made the same decision. The child is safe. Some has also suggested that the boy's parents should be held criminally responsible for the incident. Even an online petition has been started, and it's earned more than 200,000 signatures right now in less than 48 hours. This beautiful gorilla lost his life because the boy's parents did not keep a closer watch on the child, quote unquote. That's what the petition says. Someone who is on the side of the zoo, on the other hand, is one wildlife expert, Jack Hanna, the guy who we've all grown up looking at in these wildlife shows, and also makes a number of appearances on this show's favorite show, Maury Povich. He said, quote, they made the correct decision, noting that a shot from a tranquilizer gun might take 5 to 10 minutes to take effect. And it was clear to Hannah that Harambe was already alarmed by the situation, and the tranquilizer shot would have just aggravated him further, putting the child more at risk. Jack Hanna said, a human being is alive today because of the decision that the Cincinnati Zoo made. D.L. Hughley and Ricky Gervais both spoke on the other side of this on Twitter, saying, quote, if you leave your kid in the car, you go to jail. If you let your kid fall into a gorilla enclosure, you should too. Team DL. Ricky Gervais said it seems that some gorillas make better parents than some people. And also, last but not least, the woman, the parent of the child, decided to speak out via a publicist on her Twitter account. She said, quote, I wanted to thank everyone for their thoughts and prayers today. What started off as a wonderful day turned into a scary one. For those of you that have seen the news or been on social media, that was my son that fell into the gorilla exhibit at the zoo. God protected my child until the authorities were able to get to him. My son is safe and was able to walk away with a concussion and a few scrapes. No broken bones or internal injuries. As a society, we are quick to judge how a parent could take their eyes off their child, and if anyone knows me, I keep a tight watch on my kids. Accidents happen, but I'm thankful that the right people were in the right place today. Thank you to everyone that helped me and my son today, and most importantly, God, for being the awesome God that he is. Guys, so I have a question for you. Who's overreacting in this situation? Was it the zoo by killing the gorilla, or is it all the people who want the parents to pay for what happened? What you think?
Can I start,
The
please?
people who want the parents.
Go ahead, Bill. You want to start?
So here's part of my, because there's so much going on. So first of all, I have an issue with the mom bringing God into her mess. If my child fell into a 12-foot, now I don't know how many people have actually seen silverback gorillas up close, or in the wild, like gone to into an actual safari and see them. When they charge, they are very, very, very big animals. And if they charge at you, they can literally rip a human from limb to limb with their bare hands. If my child, God forbid, now because I wasn't paying attention, fell into a gorilla mode, I absolutely want them to blow the gorilla away.
The way you
save
said
my
it
child
was hilarious. If my child goes through a gorilla mode, because a lot of gorillas, like, people will tell you, if you ever go on a safari and you actually get to witness like gorillas out roaming free, they will tell you don't even look the gorilla in his face, like, because in the wild it's a sign of disrespect and it's a sign of hostility, and gorillas will charge at you for looking at them in the face. Like, you look at them in the eyes and when you're in a safari truck and you look and you pass them gorillas, what you be looking at?
my feet. Like,
Oh,
I'm not looking around. I don't even. Eyes on the prize. Like, I'm pressing toward the mark of the prize of the high calling. Like, and then, Mom, how is your 4-year-old who was telling you that they're going to climb into the gorilla mode? You look up and now they're in the gorilla mode. Who do you think you are that it's okay for you to take your eyes off it? That's neglect, daughter. Like, that is absolutely neglect.
So you feel like she should be charged for that?
Yourself.
You think
ought to be ashamed. I don't care what color she was. Black, white, Puerto Rican, Chinese, Indian, West African. I don't care. That is neglect. I don't care how many kids. Tell me something. Oh, she has so many kids with her. Don't bring that many kids to the zoo. Were you on a field trip?
I think at the end of it, like, people were like trying to blame the zoo because they said like the enclosure should have been closed off. There's no way there shouldn't have been a way for the kid to get in there. Then people were trying to blame the parent. At the end of the day, I don't really think there's much of a debate to be had. The child was down there with the gorilla. It shouldn't have been down there, but the child was down there. So it comes down to preserving a life. It's either you're going to preserve the life of the gorilla or the child, and Black Lives Matter. So the gorilla has to go. No, but if I'm being serious for a moment, like, a gorilla, at the end of the day, you're talking about a 400-pound gorilla. Like, this is not a person that you can talk to say, let this child go. You're talking to a gorilla. Like, and people are saying, like, well, they should have tranquilized the gorilla. Imagine you fighting somebody, and then somebody comes up behind you and pinches you. You think like I'm going to kill you. I'm going to kill whoever I'm fighting, and I'm going to stop and I'm going to hit you too. And if I can't get you, I'm going to hurt them. That child would have been dead if they would have tried to tranquilize that gorilla. And if the tranquilizing dart is not going to work as quick as that bullet did, then there's no need to even bring up that argument. Because at the end of the day, you're not going to put the life of this gorilla over the life of this child. And if they would have tried to tranquilize this gorilla and the gorilla would have killed the child anyway, guess what they would have done to that gorilla? Killed it. So at the end of the day, there's no debate about this. Like, it is a done deal. They did the right thing, and that is the end of it.
So
and lastly, people keep saying like the child shouldn't have been able to get down there. At the end of the day, like you would just assume that a child wouldn't try to get down there. Like I don't think the zoo is to blame for this. The zoo did exactly what they needed to do, which was make sure the child was safe.
At the end of the day, I don't like the tranquilizing. The people who are advocating for
days here. A lot of end of days.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I'm just saying there's a lot of end of days. Like everyone keeps saying.
At the end of the day.
Yeah, we gotta make sure they clear it up. You know.
We are at the end of the day. It's 10:30 over here. Like you can't tranquilize this gorilla. Number one, for a few reasons, he could have fallen backwards. He was in water and drowned anyway. Two, he could have fallen on top of the child and drowned himself and the child. Things that we probably didn't really think about. Three, he could start going crazy and pounding the hell out of the child. And then you all would have been like, why would you try to tranquilize a 400-pound gorilla? And you see him right on top of the child, and we had to witness him pound the child half to death. You should have just shot him. So there's no way that people would have been satisfied in this situation. And so what you do is you allow the professionals to make their assessment and do what they thought was best. Now, with the mom, everyone's saying she needs to go to jail or face charges and all that stuff. I don't agree with that. I think that's the stupidest thing I've ever heard. Because I've been in charge, and I don't have kids myself, but I've been in charge of kids where I've taken my eyes off of them for like 30 seconds, and I found them about 5 minutes later. I was able to find them, but they were gone just like that. Like kids dart off, they disappear. You lose little suckers in like 3 seconds. So I can understand how a child might disappear on you for a second, and it's happened to many, many parents. It's just, I mean, at the end of the day, like if you're going to the zoo, I don't think that you think that your kid can actually get in there, and so you don't really take the situation seriously. Like this has never happened before, for what I know, and so you don't take the situation as, oh, if I don't keep an eye on him for every second, he's going to be in the gorilla pit. Like you're not thinking about that.
No, you don't think about that, but you should think that
twice before.
But years ago, but more importantly though, I don't think that you think that if I take my eyes off my child,
it did happen. Like how you gonna?
I don't think that you think like, oh, if I take my eyes off my child, they're gonna fall into a gorilla pit. But you should be thinking like I'm in a public place, so somebody could easily snatch my child and leave like while I'm not watching them. So.
But when you have kids, you're not going to be watching them every second of the day. Like you can turn your head for a second and your kid can be gone.
I think that's a bit much. I feel like if you're by yourself,
it really happens all the time.
And also another thing that I want to bring up is that I thought it was really irresponsible that people. I get it that you're upset with this woman and you want whatever happened to happen to her. I get it. I understand that, but like people are taking it too far and they're bringing up. They brought up the father of the boy's criminal history, and I just feel like that's a bit much, and you're really reaching with it. Like his criminal history has nothing to do with that little boy falling down into that gorilla pit.
Absolutely, like, absolutely nothing. I was irritated by that article because I read.
And another thing that like people like these days, like it's kind of like a joke now, but people these days are gonna say like, you know how people be like, you better stop doing this, I'm gonna get the cops on you. They're gonna be like, I'm gonna send you to that gorilla. Like if kids act up, it's like I'm gonna send you to that gorilla. Especially this little boy, if he gets out of line one time, his mom's like, I'm gonna take you back to that gorilla.
I don't know. I feel like, how do you feel about zoos in general, though? Like, a lot of people are saying, you know, we should not have animals in captivity.
Well, then don't go. Like, we haven't had issues with zoos in years. Now, all of a sudden, you have an issue with a zoo. Shut the hell up. Just don't go to the zoo.
Like, if you weren't fighting to get zoos closed down for the 17 years that Harambe was rotting away in that little pit that you guys are complaining about, then I don't want to hear anything from you. Like, I need documentation that you were actively fighting against zoos, and then I will listen to your argument about
No,
how zoos need to be closed down. I don't want to hear that right now.
they don't
That's
want
not
zoos
what
to be
we're doing.
closed down. They don't want zoos to be closed down because if zoos were closed down, then these animals will be in the wild, and we'd have way more situations like Cecil. Do you want a Cecil or do you want a Harambe? You got to choose.
Dex, I'm glad that you were able to remind us that in this instance, Black Lives Matter. And that's something that Snoop Dogg also had a theme about this weekend as well. He is not really interested in the whole Roots movement that happened this Memorial Day. He was a little upset that History Channel decided to honor Memorial Day with the debut of the Roots reboot. And he said the following, on his Instagram page. Take a
No
listen.
disrespect, but I can't watch no motherfucking more black movies where niggas getting dogged out, 12 years a slave, Roots, Underground. I can't watch none of that shit. I'm sick of this shit. How the fuck they gonna put Roots on Memorial Day? They gonna just keep beating that shit in our heads or how they did us, huh? I mean, I don't understand America. They just want to just keep showing the abuse that we took hundreds and hundreds of years ago. But guess what? We taking the same abuse. Think about that part. When y'all gonna make a motherfucking series about the success that black folks is having? The only success we have is Roots and 12 Years a Slave and shit like that, huh? Fuck y'all, I ain't watching that shit. And I advise you motherfuckers that's real niggas like myself, fuck them television shows. Let's create our own shit based on today. How we live and how we inspire people today. Black is what's real. Fuck that old shit. Right, Jules?
Do you think he has a point in all of this, or do you think he's just talking?
I mean,
What you think?
I think he absolutely has a point there. Like, I mean, I said this like before. Like, I remember when the movie, I can't think of it, the one with Sandra Bullock and the football player. That movie, what is it called?
The Blind Side.
Blindside. I remember when that movie came out, and I had like a huge issue with it because it just seemed like at the time all the movies that were coming out, there were a movie about a black man or a black person who needs help from like a white person to come into their own. And then when they came out with the help, like I refused to watch that because I felt like that was the same movie, and it's like I'm really sick and tired of this narrative. And it seems like they've moved on from that narrative, and they've just started telling like slave narratives. It's just like every time you turn around, there is a different movie with that same narrative, and they're talking about slavery. And I get it. You're talking about the progressiveness of slavery and what we come from and all that stuff like that. I get it. I totally understand that. But like I do feel like in this day and time, like there's so many other stories that could and should be told. And I don't think we need to keep remaking and retelling the same stories over and over and over because nothing changes in that story. It's like there's no progression. I get it. You know, because you want the new generation to see these movies and understand like where they come from because they're definitely not getting taught that in school. So like I get it and I totally understand that, but at the same time though, like that's all they're getting told. Like there's no other stories. It's hard for me to agree with Snoop Dogg though as he sits there with like that headdress on, but like he does have a pretty valid point. I'm a real N-word like himself because
Ty, are you one of the real niggas? Ty, are you one of the real niggas that Snoop Dogg is referencing? In this?
I would like to not prefer to myself as such a thing. However, I understand both sides of the story. I'm one for education. I'm one for if you don't understand your past, you are bound to repeat it, those things that we learn as fundamentals. So I do think it is important to tell stories like that just to see where we come from. However, I do believe that we as a people need to make a concentrated effort to make sure we put out the narrative that we are doing great things. Like if we ourselves, like if you look at social media and Black Twitter and all those things, we don't really, as a general population, support the narrative that we're doing a whole lot of great things. We focus on ridiculous things. We focus on tearing each other down oftentimes. And so I think that if we really want to tell about what we're doing, that we need to gather and tell the story, like the Black directors and actors and movie owners and movie goers need to make sure that that narrative is told. In addition to the narrative that we do need to tell the slave narrative because it needs to be known, and we need to not let anybody forget about it. Because if we let them forget, they will. and they'll pretend that we are all on equal playing fields, and that the reason why some of us are going through what we're going through is because of pure laziness, and it's just not the case. So I do think we still need to tell those stories, but we also need to make an effort, and I'm saying the same thing for a long time, to tell both narratives.
Bill, did you watch Roots? And like, did you decide to watch it or no?
I've seen the original Roots.
I've never seen Roots.
So
I actually been meaning to watch it.
Me neither.
I was completely uninterested in watching this remake, because I'm already a conscious black man living in America, so I'm already kind of enraged with society of white people as a whole. Like,
but also to Will's point,
I'm so woke, I'm back to sleep. Like,
the way we're talking about this, the way we just had that, like, Snoop Dogg, you have a way bigger platform than the four of us combined together. So if you really felt like, this is a story that shouldn't be told, the way you present it is the way that people get it. So, like, if you're putting it out there and you saying it just the way you said it, it's kind of like you just look at it like, oh, he's being ignorant, and you don't listen to what he's really saying. And it's easy to dismiss that. But if you are intellectual about it and you put it out there in a way that makes people think, that makes people really want, to come up with a conscious effort to change it, then people will do that. Like, you can't tell a story, Snoop Dogg, talking like that. So, like, of course people aren't going to listen to you when you talk about a story. You got to present it better, I think. I think you should really work on your presentation skills, Mr. Dogg.
Don't get on Instagram and talk about it. Start a production company with some of that money you taking and smoking weed with, and do it.
And hire me to be in the movie, or tell my story. That'll make you some money.
Tell
our story. Yeah, our story. I'm sorry, all of us. The Bro Talk Live story.
Snoop Dogg was also in a bit of, like, right after this, kind of funny it happened like that. He was in this little firestorm that Big Boy from Outkast is in, because he decided to post this photo on his Twitter page about mothers. This is the photo. The picture says mothers in the 70s versus mothers now, and we act like we don't know what's wrong with these kids. He posted that, got retweeted a bunch of times. Snoop Dogg even reposted that, like he took a picture of it and posted it himself on his page, I guess, to show that he is in agreement with Snoop Dogg. A couple of people's responses to what Big Boy posted. Big Boy, this is gross. Delete this BS. Go write some rapidy raps. Do something constructive. Someone else said, we get to watch our own brothers degrade black motherhood every single day like they don't come from black women. And another person said, the only thing Big Boy did wrong was not blame the men too. We're supposed to set the example and lead if you want to be a technical patriarch. Guys, with regards to what Big Boy posted, should he be proud or embarrassed of the conversation that he started with this post?
I mean, it's a narrative. Put it out there. I don't see anything wrong with it. We do see things like that happening. Like, I don't know. I feel like people need to tell both narratives. Like, we see these things. We also see good mothers out there really doing great things. We see a lot of strong black mothers. We see a lot of strong black families. We don't tell that narrative as often. And what we do put out, the ghetto, trashy, crazy stuff, and we support that and we laugh at it and we talk about it, but we only tell that one narrative. And it's the same thing with the other stories, is if we want to spread a narrative of positivity and see what we're really doing, then we also need to promote that narrative. But if I put out a story of a strong black family or a young couple that got married and is really doing their thing, I mean, that story is not going to get very much traction. It just doesn't matter. But if I put out the crazy stuff, that's what people are going to retweet and give their opinions and talk about it. And so I think that we're in, I don't know, a little bit of a bind when it comes to this kind of thing. I don't think he should be embarrassed of it, though. I mean, because it's a true story. It does happen. So,
but it's kind of a generalization. You're saying mothers in the 70s were all one way, as mothers now are all another way.
Yes, absolutely. Mothers in the 70s were, they were stay-at-home moms. They were taking care of the house. Mothers today are bad. Just they out here and they popping it for a real. That's what's going on these days, and that's what it is. Like, let's go. No, seriously. I think what I don't like about this is that you're comparing a TV show mom to like people in real life who have real life issues. Like that makes no sense. I think that he should be embarrassed that he did that. He also should be embarrassed that like you're not. That's really you're not even starting a narrative. You're like making a joke at this point. Like you're not like facilitating a conversation. You're just trying to be funny. And to me, like I mean, I'll take it as that. I'll laugh at it, but like I won't take it serious. He's just like Snoop Dogg. If you're really trying to put a point out there, put a point out there. You know what I mean? Don't make a joke. Don't laugh at it. Like really, like put it out there. Put a point out there. Prove to me that this woman that you use in this picture has a child. You know what I mean? Like prove to me that the women in the 70s weren't doing similar things. I mean, to be honest with you, back in the day, my grandma by herself has 13 kids, so she wasn't fully clothed at all times. So if we're really being technical here,
but wasn't that like the crack generation? It's not like where all people are on crack and weed and all kinds.
Just like people are so quick. People are so quick to like be so judgmental against these kids these days. But like you guys, where do you think these people learn this stuff from? Like you guys weren't all like peachy clean back in your day either.
One could also say that the hip hop movement is responsible for the way a lot of these kids are today, which is something that Big Boy is inherently involved in. Bill,
still, yeah.
What you think about the comparison Big Boy made?
I think it's a bit ridiculous. Again, he's comparing. I mean, because doesn't he have children? Like you could also say fathers in the 70s and have pictures of them like fighting for rights and trying to be equivalent of men, and now you could say that they're all locked up and they're like shooting each other. Like, what are you doing with your children?
Yeah, someone actually posted a picture. Someone actually posted a picture side by side with Nat King Cole and his daughter sitting on his lap and Big Boy sitting on a stripper's booty. So that was pretty funny.
Right, like don't be ridiculous. When you live less than perfection, go work on an album. That's really all we want from you, and not even so much because Andre 3000 is proven to be the brains of the operation. So kind of just sit back and don't do anything.
Or go mentor some of the girls that you have shaking their butt in your video. Go mentor them so that they won't have kids and end up like that.
All right, and last but not least, Gucci Mane is home from prison. Y'all, Gucci home just like Boosie was home, but Gucci is home once again from his latest stint behind bars. If you guys haven't heard, he released a new single, First Day Out the Feds. Has already amassed more than 1.6 million streams on SoundCloud in just 2 days, a feat that he celebrated. He's also lost a gang of weight, over 50 pounds reported by various sources. So my boy Eric, we all know Eric. He's actually right here in this picture. You can see the one to the right of me with the red circle around it.
What a nice little photograph that is.
He had a question for us regarding Gucci Mane. He wanted me to put it on the show. He said over or under 6 months before Gucci Mane ends up back in jail. So what are you guys going with, the over or the under 6 months before Gucci Mane ends up back?
Just over.
I say over. I think he's learned his lesson.
No, Gucci Mane's going to gain weight again, and when he gains weight, he's going to be like, I got to get it snatched again, so I give it less than 6 months, and he will be back in jail.
Back on the jail.
And he will be in jail with me. Like, that's all you got to do to lose weight is go to jail? Like, sign me up. Like, I mean, this man was pregnant when he went into jail, and legit is like, okay, like, sign me up. That's all you got to do? Okay.
Yeah, like that stomach was nothing to play with. That thing was no joke.
I don't care that you're home again. You've been in jail, like in and out of jail. Like that's most ridiculous to me. Like I do not care that you're back home again. Do me a favor and stay in next time. That way I don't have to worry. Like stop coming home. Like you're being ridiculous at this point. You clearly have never learned your lesson. You and T.I. are the same person, and you need to be locked in a cage. That's what they made cages for. People like that who don't learn a lesson. Go back and stay there.
What was he in jail for anyway?
Pushing a girl out of a running car. A moving car.
Oh, excuse me.
I don't think he'll do that again. I hope.
I mean, I don't care. I mean, at the end of the day, I think
but he's going to do.
I mean, we put a lot of attention,
and he'll have.
We put a lot of attention on the negative narratives. Somebody getting out of jail. I mean, this is college graduation season. We didn't.
That's positivity. Someone getting out of jail is positivity. What you mean?
Not really. You shouldn't have been in there.
Exactly.
How's that positive? In what way is that positive? You got released from prison.
I mean, one less person in prison though, and then he came out, and then He came out and then he did a music and
You
stuff like that.
shouldn't have
which
been
means
in it
he's-
in the first place.
Okay, but people make mistakes. I mean, sure, like really, if the car door was locked, he wouldn't have been able to push her out. So that's a mistake that she made.
Okay, how about the time before that? How about the time before that when it was drugs and weapons?
I mean, if they had stronger gun laws, then he wouldn't have been able to get them guns and stuff like that. So like,
Shut up.
that's somebody else's problem. That's the government.
Thank you. And the government locked his ass up. That's
And
fine.
if people didn't OD on lean, then it wouldn't be illegal, right, Deck?
Tell them.
Time for Q&A, where you where you guys ask us questions and we try our best to answer them. This has become one of my favorite segments because I love interacting with our viewers. Here we
You
go.
seem so pumped, like I love interacting with the peons. Like you just say it like it's so high and mighty.
I am high and mighty. However, there's no reason why you can't come up with me. So here we go. So I'm in a 3-year-long relationship, and unfortunately, the time has come to end it. We've been long distance for a while, and we'll be long distance for a while more, and I just can't do it anymore. I'm exhausted. I haven't gotten enough from him emotionally, commitment-wise, to make it feel worth it, and I feel taken for granted. Nothing is seriously wrong, but nothing is seriously right, and I just can't fake it anymore. I'm very broken up about it, but I guess that's just the way the cookie crumbles. Anyway, my problem is this. When I do break up with him, he's coming to visit soon, and we haven't seen each other in quite some time. We've been very excited about the visit, and now I feel like a total ass. Do I break up with him before the visit and feel terrible he spent $500 for nothing? Do I wait and hope that everything resolves itself during the visit? And if it doesn't, do I just pretend everything's okay and then at the airport be like, so I think we should see other people this week? I'm sorry, that wasn't finished the quote. Other people this week has been great. Okay, bye. I know there's no good way to break up with someone, but all the ways seem particularly messy. I'm having trouble seeing the bottom. I apologize, viewers. I do want to get to all of your questions.
Y'all, it really hurts me to have to end this relationship. My guy hasn't been the perfect boyfriend, but he's been pretty darn good, and I want this to be as painless for all parties involved as possible. I love him very much, and I know he loves me, and this whole thing is just one sucky mess of irreconcilable differences. Please help.
Yeah, so guys, we have a person here who is trying to break up with someone, and they need our help. So let's see what we can do. Let's start with Dexter, and let's just move on down the row as according to the people who are. I'd like to hear from all of you this time. Let's see what we have.
Well, I legit think this is probably the best question we've ever gotten on the show, and we've been doing the show for about 3-4 years. I think this is probably the best question. It's so serious, and like, I don't know. Like, it's like at first when I was reading, I'm just like, well, just tell him over the phone right now. But then like he spent money, and like a lot of things aren't refundable, so I kind of understand that, and it wouldn't be good to like bring him all the way out here and then just break up with him in person or whatever, but. Like I maybe a conversation, and I know even coming to visit someone and having to deal with like a dramatic situation is not ideal for anybody either. But like something kind of has to be done, and you got to put your happiness first. Unfortunately, like he will be upset that he spent the money and everything, but like he won't be happy if you're not happy at the end of the day. Like because if you're not happy, you're going to be walking around with him, and you're going to have an attitude. You're not going to be able to function properly. So I think maybe when he gets here. Because he's gonna come, so when he gets here, just kind of sit down and like have that conversation, and like maybe you guys could still hang out like while he's here, but if not, like I think he would kind of understand that like you're not here for it, so he would probably try to find something else to do. I think it's very hard, but like the easiest way to do it, if you don't feel like this is gonna go anywhere else, you just gotta like face to face when he gets down here, just kind of like end it, but. Kind of let him know that that's where you're headed towards before he comes. Because to be honest with you, if you over the phone now say like this isn't really something that like I'm really trying to cool down on our relationship. If you tell him over the phone, he might on his own decide like I'm not coming out there. And yes, $500 is a lot of money to waste, but it's probably best for him to waste that $500 than to come down there and get blindsided with heartbreak.
Good, good. Jason?
I believe that you should not tell him neither once he's here or beforehand. I feel like you should wait until about a week after he leaves, after the trip, so he doesn't feel like he wasted quote unquote money. I feel like that's the easiest way to get rid of all this. Just I'm gonna say lie, but just have a good time while he's here. Enjoy what you can with each other, and then when he gets back about a week later, just say, look, we had a great time, but we don't have anything there anymore. I just don't feel like there's a spark. I feel like I'm moving in a different direction, especially now since I've seen you. Just do it that way. Do it as a decision that you really didn't have made up until you announced it. I don't feel like you should, because it's going to be super awkward if you announce it while you're there. Because then where is he going to do? Where is he going to stay? Is he going to still stay with you, or what is he going to do once he's there? Is he just going to hang out by himself afterwards and just mope around? I don't feel like that's really a conducive way to make both parties involved. An amicable split.
The person has already spent the money. First of all, you're not going to find a perfect anybody. That's the first thing you need to realize. Nobody is perfect, so if you're looking for a perfect person, baby, you're going to keep chasing the pipe dream, because the perfect person doesn't exist. Everybody has flaws. That's the first thing. So I feel like you should wait until he gets there, and then just kind of tolerate him, and then just deal. You need to just do, because you might find, while he's there, you might find out. You may rediscover the reason you fell in love with him.
That's true,
first.
because
rediscover whatever.
you guys have been apart for so long. That's a good point. Yeah, that's a good point.
If you're still not there, just wait about a week and then hit him up yo, listen, it's me, not you. I'm over here now, not over there. Bless you.
I honestly do. I do like you guys' advice, and I hadn't considered it before I drew up my own opinion, which I'm still going to share. But there is a possibility that you guys seeing each other again in person could make you feel differently. However, I am a big fan of ripping off the Band-Aid, so I definitely would break up with that person, and I would do it now. I would not have any regard for the fact that you spent $500. I do not think that your $500 being spent is a reason why I would drag any situation on any longer than I had to. If I was 100% sure that I was breaking up with this person, regardless of whether or not you spent $500 or whether or not you are coming to visit, I'm breaking up with you and I'm doing it now. That's me. I'm more of a person who would say, to be kind, I'll give you $250 if that makes the blow a little bit less.
Makes you go away, I'll give you $250.
I'll take some of the loss with you, but this relationship is over, and this is why. I'm not dragging this thing on any longer than I have to, because I'm ready to move on. And when I'm ready to move on or have a peace of mind or spend that time to myself or do whatever I need to do, I want to do it, and I want to do it right now. I'm not about to say, well, you did spend $500. I'm not going to pussyfoot my way out of this thing. I'm getting out of this relationship now. So that's the way I operate. So you can take the advice of any one of us, and I think that we all provided great advice based on our different personalities. My personality is the type where I get things done that need to be done, whether they hurt or not. I don't think $500 is that much money. Stop trading.
$500 is a lot of money if I'm coming there and you're gonna break up with me. And lastly, just to defend my and kind of ties thing too, Will and Jason, I do agree with what you said. She could probably rediscover that she loves him or whatever, but she could also be in the car with this guy and hate him so much that she throws him out the window and throws him out the car door, and now she's in jail like Gucci Mane. So I just that's why I think that my way was the best way.
Question number 2, I want to start off by saying I'm the biggest Beyonce fan in my circle. I have loved her and looked up to her since the beginning, and all my girls know that. I am also the only one in my group that hasn't seen her live. So when the Formation tour was announced, I immediately texted my girls, and we all made plans to go. Long story short, one of them decided she was going to the Miami show, while the other said she can't go at all. So yesterday, I'm talking to them. Sorry, it came back in. I'm talking to them, and all of a sudden, they both have tickets for this weekend show in my city. I removed myself from the conversation because I didn't want to say anything I would regret. How would you all handle this?
Say, girl, let me go get We're going to the show together. What the hell? Is she like offended that? Like I don't get it. Like is she offended that?
Yeah, I am a little bit confused by this. I'm not sure if you decided not to get the tickets because they weren't getting them, or if they've decided that they all of a sudden had.
Did she not get the tickets?
I don't think she got a ticket.
Yeah, I feel like she didn't get a ticket because they said they couldn't go or that they were going to go to another city, and so she didn't get a ticket, and then all of a sudden they showed up with tickets, and so now she's upset because you guys turned around and bought tickets, and then you told me you weren't getting tickets, so now I'm the only one without a ticket, even though I'm the one who wanted to go. So let's just pretend that's the situation.
If that's the situation, and this goes for anything, you need to. This is one thing my grandmother told me. You were born in this world by yourself, and when you die, you leaving by yourself.
He's only saying that because he's going to. He's saying that because he's going to the concert by himself. That's why he's saying that.
Excuse me. Thank you. I'm speaking. Thank you. You need to not wait on anybody. When I'm ready to do things, I don't care who's going or who's not going. I'm getting my stuff and I'm moving on. I heard Ty Tripp was coming to Philadelphia. I ain't texting nobody. I went and bought my tickets and I'm going to see him. I heard Beyonce was coming. Went and bought tickets. I don't have time to wait for people. Oh yeah, we want to go. Oh no, we're not going to do it. And then you end up looking stupid because everybody going. Nope. Get your tickets and let this be a learning lesson, a lesson learned for you. Don't you wait on nobody, baby. When it's time to move, you need to move. Be in position. See, that'll preach.
And so now, in the fact that this did happen, how should she handle it, William?
It would not have happened because I always get.
But it did.
So she's asking for your advice, not what you would do. What would you do if it did happen? Like what should she do in light of the situation?
Me, I would lay everybody out and then find a show that's easily accessible to you and go. Lay them hussies out.
But most of the shows are sold out now or whatever like that because I mean, where would she go? I mean,
and if it's not sold out, like you legit have to pay money, like a lot of money, to get the same seats that your raggedy friends got. You better sit on Instagram and watch it.
What would you do? I don't know what I would do. I feel like I would exit the. I don't know. But
I said, get me out of this chat.
You know what that's gonna do.
Honestly, like to be honest with you, I really wouldn't do anything. Like I would say, like my issue in life, truthfully, and I've realized this over the past year. Honestly, my issue is in life is that I don't speak up on things that I feel like people should know. Like I think in a situation like that, you know that you did me wrong. Like you know that like I want to go to this show and you got tickets without me. Both of you guys got tickets without me. So either y'all didn't want me to go or like whatever. Yeah. So like for me, like
deeper issue there. Like they didn't want her to go with them.
Yeah, like, especially the one because then nobody buy tickets for a Miami show and a Philadelphia show. Like I find that hard to believe. Like you didn't buy 2 tickets to the same show to see the same person do the same thing. Maybe you didn't do that.
I think they're saying that they like try to throw a curveball, whereas one said they were going to Miami and one said they were going to Philly in order not to go with her.
See, like, and for that one, it's just kind of one of those things. Like I said, my issue is that I don't speak up on things. Things like piss me off and make me mad or whatever, and I don't always say it because I feel like people should know that you did something wrong, so you should know that you did wrong. So I wouldn't say anything about it, but I would also never talk to them about going to a concert ever again, and I would just slowly but surely, like, end my friendship with them.
I think I would ask them which seats both of them got, and if I found out that they were sitting together, then we'd have a problem.
But the fact that they lied to you, about even getting the tickets and stuff like that, and the one saying the fact that you say you're not going, I don't care where you're sitting at, like you're wrong. You just told me about that. It's like we were probably sitting at a Memorial Day barbecue, and you said, "Oh, what you doing this weekend?" "Oh, I'm going to see Beyonce." "Oh, me too." "What you doing?"
Dex, you going to see Beyonce this week?
I will be there. In formation, not like this girl here.
My advice, honestly, is I'm probably the exact opposite of Dexter in that if I feel like you should know something, I'm definitely going to inform you to make sure all people around me are informed of my feelings of all things at all times. So if I feel some type of way, you will definitely not escape knowing about it.
But then
that's
what?
One. Two, It depends. I will move according to the situation. Sometimes I could just tell you off and tell that I fixed you, therefore I won't have to deal with this again.
But you're still going to. For me,
Sometimes
though,
I'll take a break from you, like a little break, and and sometimes I'll end our relationship altogether. It just depends on how I felt about that situation. This is the type of situation where I'll probably just tell you off. I don't think a Beyonce situation is serious enough for me to end a friendship.
yes, it is because you're lying. Why would you lie?
I feel like, pardon me.
I'm sorry, but why would you lie? Oh, you gonna keep going?
Yeah, I am. I feel like honestly that they did not want her to go with them. Like that's the sneaky feeling that I have in my mind. And so if you excluded me in that way, then I'm definitely done with this little friendship of ours because I feel like they just didn't want you to go. How did they both end up with tickets and you end up with no tickets? They don't want you to go. You brought it up in the first place.
They got for their birthday.
You know what though? She might be. Now that I'm thinking about it, because who would lie about that? And I think they lied to preserve her feelings. Because think about it, she's probably one of those girls. She even said in this thing here, "I'm the biggest Beyonce fan in my group." This, that, and they're like, that's annoying. And she was probably the one that's in the who thinks that she is Beyonce and will sit up with them and do the absolute most. Like nobody has time for that. Maybe that's why they lied to you.
Go with somebody to a concert. Like a concert is not like you're going to dinner with somebody. Like it's a concert. You're going to enjoy the person.
She might show off and do the most.
Yeah, she might be embarrassed, like yes, B, and all those.
Or performing and whatnot. She might have a wig down to her toes or whatever, swinging it around. Nobody has time or energy for that.
Ain't nobody going to care. Don't nobody look at somebody when they at a concert.
But sometimes you don't want to be. Like sometimes you have certain friends and you're thinking of certain events that you're going to, and you're like, I don't really want this person there, even though I am friends with this person and I don't mind. I don't want.
You're in a group chat with this person.
Here. I'm in group chat with these people here.
I'm in group chat with Will. Me and Will are both going to the concert. We're not going together because Will will probably show off at the concert. I don't have the time or the energy for Will to show off at the concert.
Bill, you gonna show off at the concert?
Bill is definitely going to show off.
Bill?
William's trying to be so humble lately.
Do you see me ignoring that?
William's trying to be so saved lately.
Will, are you going to show off? What you gonna put on?
Something right.
He'll probably wear like one of Prince's attires or something like that. Like Will is gonna do the most. Watch, y'all listen.
Dex,
make sure you post lots of pictures to prove Dex.
Bill said you're gonna have one of them headbands with the flowers on, like on Snapchat.
Well, send your questions to brotalklive.com. We appreciate interacting with you all, and we hope that you got something out of this. Our next segment, as Jason will introduce,
is the return of Jizza Thoughts. Guys, we haven't had Jizza Thoughts in a while, so I decided to bring him back for the culture. You feel me?
Seething with joy.
All right, guys. Question: why are they called the Virgin Islands, the U.S. ones and the British ones? Why are they called the Virgin Islands? Because you can't have. Dex, you say they can't have sex?
I said Yeah. Maybe that's what it is. There's no sexual activity going on in these their islands.
I'm gonna reserve no.
To be honest with you, I don't know. So that's fine. I never looked it up. So.
Oh, so can we all agree that I'm 1 for 1?
I guess my answer is not good enough.
What did you say? Was not good enough, and so we would say that we don't know. I was terrible at geography. I never looked it up. I don't really know.
Why do they put design on mattresses when you just gonna cover it with a sheet anyway?
That's why though. Everybody can't afford a sheet, so you gotta have something that looks nice.
It is marketing purposes because you're trying to sell this thing.
What you think? Thanks, it's for the people who can't afford sheets.
Yeah, some people only have one sheet and they got to use it for Halloween for their babies. So therefore, you don't got nothing on that mattress.
Like a $1,500 mattress. If you can't afford sheets, you wouldn't be buying that bed.
Debatable. That's debatable, Ty, because people be buying things that like they shouldn't be buying, and then they'll buy a car that they can't afford and park it like in their mom's like garage or something like that. Like
what they using the sheet for? That's the one sheet they got.
Halloween costume.
All All right.
Because
So I think I'll go with Dex with that one.
you know what would make this better is if you had an actual answer for us.
That's
to
the
prove
problem.
That we were wrong.
That's the problem.
Like sometimes I wait to be like, are we wrong? And then you like to come with the answer, and say, well, the reason is this, and like you guys are wrong. But like you'd be like, oh yeah, I don't know either, and then we move on. So
I
you're
just
like,
thought. I just want to know what you guys think because it seems like no one has an answer, but you guys swear you're so smart. So I just want to.
oh, I'm definitely, most definitely.
You've never heard me use that word to describe myself.
Yes, I think you're
And
right.
last but not least, this isn't really just a thought, but this is a cool optical illusion, guys. How is this happening? What's happening here?
What do you mean, how's this happening?
What?
How is this happening? Like, how is her legs in between his legs like that? Like, do you get what I'm saying? How's this picture happening?
What?
Oh, yeah, I see it now.
Oh yeah. Maybe her legs are just. I don't know what's happening there. Like this looks like almost as if like you're looking at the wrong person's feet.
Yeah, but she clearly has white arms and he has black legs. So how is it that his legs look white and her legs look black?
And also, the white pants are turned facing you. Like, you can see that it's
the white
facing
pants are facing me.
If we zoom in a little bit, we can see. His shorts are actually just colored white and blue. So the white is in the middle. It's like swimming trunks, and the sides are blue. So it looks like that her pants went in effect. It's just his shorts, and her legs are right there, and his legs are right there.
Oh, so she's in front of him.
What is
She's
she wearing? What is she wearing then?
Probably a bikini.
Okay.
You can't see her at all. His pants are just white.
And I actually do see I see it now. I see what the short, yeah.
Oh yeah, isn't that neat?
So there you go. You got an answer. You guys happy?
We are happy that that's what we want from you. That you can't come up here with this. Oh, you guys aren't smart, but then you're like calling all of them because you don't know either. So we're all stupid.
It is now time for Dex's BS report.
Okay. Well, what an intro. What an intro. Okay, so Dex's BS report for the week. There's a new ring on the market that people are flocking to. One of the main reasons that people are flocking to this ring is because when you're married, you take your ring off sometimes and you lose the ring. So they have this where you can always find the ring. But the most important part about this ring is that it comes with a GPS tracker, which people are using to spy on their mates. There's nothing in life that compares to the feeling of being in love. But what if your significant other begins acting distant or becoming withdrawn? What if they begin working longer hours, socializing with new people, and missing family events? What if they begin a relationship? What if they begin a relationship with another person? The only way you would know is if you track their every move. With this new GPS ring, engagement ring, you can track your mate whether they are at work or at play. Ladies and gentlemen, this ring retails for $169, and it comes in two different colors, and then it comes for men and women, two different shapes and two different colors. So if you know someone that you don't trust and you want to get engaged to them just to spy on them, this ring is here and it's available for you.
How much it cost?
It's $169 to get the stuff installed into it, but the ring, it's kind of like it's up to you.
Oh, that's cheap. That's a nice little.
But there's certain ones that like there's prototypes, and those are the ones you can kind of decide. And there's no price on those, but there is a price on the chip that you get installed into it.
Is it waterproof?
I doubt it.
That's dumb.
I mean, but who's going to swim with their wedding ring on? Do people do that? Do you swim with your wedding rings on?
I would think so.
But you might stick your finger into some more situations with the wedding ring on.
And here's another one. A Huffington Post blogger by the name of Susan DeWitt Hall, she penned an argument. Basically, everybody's talking about the transgender bathrooms and how like people shouldn't be allowing men and women, in the same bathroom. So she said, the first transgender man was Jesus. And Eve was the first transgender woman. She says,
Look at Bill. Look at Bill. Look at Bill.
When it comes to this argument, she says the worst offenders are Christians who claim to take the Bible literally. She said if they really did, and as they claim to, They would quickly realize that Jesus must be, by their own rules, a transgender male, and Eve is a fascinating creature for many reasons. The Bible tells us that she's the first of human cloning, which she touches on in the post. And she said, if we take Genesis in account, the literal meaning, as a conservative Christians deemed it, that we do, that she's in case a transgender woman. God reached into Adam, pulled out a bit of the rib bone, and Eve grew the XY DNA into Adam's companion. She was created genetically male.
Hold up, they said God pulled out some of the rib bone.
Wait a minute.
Ribs.
This is simple science.
Wait, let me finish. Man was Adam's companion. She was created genetically male, yet transformed into a woman. Then along came Jesus, and the whole pattern is both repeated and reversed. The couple's refusal to cooperate is turned around in Mary's eyes, and the second act of cloning occurs. The Holy Spirit comes upon Eve, and the child takes flesh from her and is born. Born of her flesh, born with XX chromosomes, pairing both genetically female and yet transformed into a man. She also says the prefix trans, which means, defined by the dictionaries, means across, beyond, through, channeling through, are great terms to describe Jesus and his teachings. One more story, and then we'll go for reactions. In Alabama...
No, wait. I need to add the story now because I'm going to get it.
Just wait for the report.
Okay, so in Alabama, a woman claims that she was pregnant by an unknown man by using a porta potty at the county fair. Brittany Thomas, who's 18 years old, said, what happened was I went to use the porta potty at the fair last year. Someone else was using it. I found some semen left behind on the floor by the previous user. The toilet paper was rolled up on the ground too. I believe that when I was using the toilet paper to wipe myself off, it was contaminated by the semen on the ground. Now I just gave birth to a healthy baby boy with dark skin. Both my husband and I have blonde hair and blue eyes. It took a while for my husband to understand the science behind getting pregnant, but now he supports me, and we just want to know who the father is. They released a sketch of the black man who they believe is the father, and she just wants the guy to reach out to them because she wants her baby to grow up with his father, and she also wants him to begin paying child support. And that is Dex's BS report for the week.
Go, Will, get him.
I need this woman to understand the simple science of deoxyribonucleic acid, also called DNA.
Ooh,
Dear, if you have a bone marrow transplant as a woman and your donor is a male and they then take blood, you will show up as a male. I don't want you to for 1 second think that God, Jesus, or Eve were transsexual anything. The only thing trans that had to do with the Holy Ghost was the transfiguration that took place after the Holy Ghost fell. I don't want you to for 1 second think that that it has to do with it. God is a spirit, which means he transcends. Okay, he lives in eternity, and he is not confounded to time. I don't want you to think. What is this woman's name? I'm going to write her a letter and explain to her how things work. Okay, DNA means you take chromosomes from one person and you get it from another person, and that's how a baby is born. That is not. Don't you ever in your filthy life say that Jesus was a transsexual. Like, there's absolutely no way to prove that. Jesus said, I and the Father are one, meaning that he was a male, and he let the world know that he was a male. When he hung up on that cross, he did so as a man. I don't want you to even try it with no foolishness, trying to okay transsexuality. It is not okay. And my views may not be their views, but let me tell you something. As a conservative Christian, the Bible tells us that it is a sin abominable before the Almighty God, and you need to govern yourself as such. I don't want you to think it's okay.
Her name was Susan DeWitt Hall. I should use that story last. Her name was Susan DeWitt Hall.
DeWitt Hall?
Yeah, and she's a Huffington Post blogger.
Like, they allow her to write that.
Yeah, she got a letter coming. I don't care what they allow her to write. She got one coming from me.
Give us that name, Dex, so we can make sure we write that down.
Suzanne DeWitt Hall.
It's the spelling bee this week. Why don't you spell it?
SUZANNEDEWITT.
You ain't got to spell it. I'm spelling it how I spell it.
HAL. What? She ain't gonna get the letter then. That's not how it works.
Oh, she gonna get the letter because it's going straight to the Huffington Post. I don't care how they spell a name. She gonna disrespect and undignify my Jesus. She don't deserve a name. I'm gonna put Susan, Susan.
Time for seats.
That's my seat. Y'all go ahead.
Y'all go ahead.
Nope. Y'all go ahead.
I'll go.
And another thing, you need to understand that Adam was the prototype. You know what? Go ahead. Come on. Y'all go ahead.
My seat this week is gonna go to Adele. Like, I like Adele's music, but like there was a concert that she was in. I believe it was in London, and someone they did push it a little bit. They were recording the concert and had the audacity to set up a damn tripod. Like, but she stopped the concert and was like, I don't want you filming me, this, that, and the third. And I understand the tripod was a bit much, but don't you ever think that you're about to charge $200+ for tickets and think that I'm not going to Snapchat the performance. I'm going to Snapchat me, I'm going to Snapchat you, and I'm going to Snapchat the crowd. I pay way too much money for these seats for you to tell me that I can't record. So, Adele, for that, you can be seated.
My seat is going to go to a little bit of, not necessarily a seat, but this is a story that I listened to a podcast on this week. The podcast is called Criminal, and it's about this story that happened back in, I think it was the 60s or the 70s, about this race war, quote unquote, that the Ku Klux Klan was having with a group. And what happened was they were picketing the Ku Klux Klan because the Klan was over here terrorizing people or whatever like that. And this happened during the same time as the Iran hostage crisis. So what happened was the group was out there marching down the street, and the Ku Klux Klan, I can't remember, I think it was in Georgia. I can't remember exactly where it was at because I've only heard the story once, which is actually my point. They were picketing, and the Ku Klux Klan turns around, ends up shooting 39 shots at these black people who were marching for their rights. Ended up killing 5 of them, wounding a bunch of them. And they said in the podcast that the story was breaking news. It was national news for a couple of hours, and it all went away as soon as the Iran hostage crisis happened. So my point is, if you're going to talk, if I hear a whole bunch of people talking about, white people saying, oh, black on black crime is the reason that black people are the way that they are, and that's the reason that, so many black killings happen. No, the reason that so many black killings happen is something completely different than black on black crime. And that is more evidence in this because when you had a chance to focus on, black people being killed or domestic terrorism in your own household, America, you decided not to, and you decided to go over and talk about the Iran hostage crisis, which really has nothing to do with us in the first place. So this has been going on for a very long time. I'm surprised this is the first time I've heard about it. And I'm actually I'm just frustrated because how many more stories have happened about like this that have happened on our own soil in the last 100 years that got swept under the rug because of something that, someone else did not deem worthy to be part of the 6 o'clock news or national or world news because the Iran hostage crisis happened. Kiss my ass, and I'm tired of people acting like we're the only ones that are murdering each other when it hasn't been that way for the last 100 years or 2, 3 since we've been over here.
I've always watched things on America and foreign policy, and we always try to play like we are the standard for morale, and that's our issue. So we don't want to cover things that make us look like we're below the standard. So we'd rather point the cameras on crazy people over there because if we show up as people who can't handle morals on our own soil, then how can we go into another country and tell them how to handle theirs? So let's not focus on ours. Let's tell our people to shut up. It's just like when you bring your kids out in public and you know that they're bad and they don't listen. You try to pep talk them. If you get in there and you do this and they get in there, they do it anyway. Which you don't want to look bad in front of other people. And that's how America is. America is like a bad parent who wants to shut their kids up or the people who are being oppressed up because we want to look like we're on some moral high ground, and we're not. And that's our issue in America.
It happened in Greensboro, North Carolina in 1979, if you guys want to look it up. It's a terrible story that was not highlighted enough at the time. So take a look at it.
They often aren't.
You have one, Ty?
Oh, sure. Everyone was so serious. The only thing that I have is I've been reading a lot about millennials, and it's starting to become pretty irritating with all these articles being posted. Millennials are this, millennials are that. We don't get this done. We don't get that one. We're arrogant. We're pompous. We're self-entitled. We're this. We're that. Like, it irritates me how we're going to generalize an entire generation of people from ages 18 to 35, and say we're this and we're that. Like, I don't want to read any more articles or see any more people post about millennials. We're all different people. We do different things. We have different ideas. Stop the whole debate. Stop the whole talk. It's starting to become pretty annoying, and it's getting old. You should have something else to say. Yes, we came in with our degrees. Yes, we're in charge of certain things. No, we don't do things the way you would have done them. Yes, we quit drives that we feel like are oppressive. Yes, we try to progress in different ways. Yes, sometimes we're rude. Sometimes we're not rude. We just do things differently. But at the end of the day, we're all different people, and so we don't want to be categorized as millennials doing things because we're millennials. I think that's stupid.
Amen. All right. Any final words?
Yes. A big shout out and rest in peace to Jan Crouch, co-founder of TBN. She passed away at the age of 78 from like a massive stroke. So shout out to Jan.
Oh no, terrible.
Yes.
Shout out to yeah, I don't have anything, but
And shout out really quickly to my formation crew. This weekend will be
Oh.
amazing. I can't wait, and I will share with you guys everything that goes down.
Oh, what kind of crew is
But
it?
I'm the one who does too much, right? Okay.
We'll talk off air.
My wife over here standing here looking at me. I guess she wants a shout out. Shout out to you. Okay, you can go sit down there.
Don't you dare speak to her like that. Dare you?
For Dex, for Ty, for Bill, for my wife. This has been another edition of Bro Talk Live. Peace out.